first Truck Series start, you finished top of the 5 starters who were making their debut. You had a little bit of a scuffle yesterday with the number 36, and then I think on the last 2 laps you might have had a turn-in with Crafton. Can you talk about those last 2 laps and just how the day went?
So it wasn't first off yesterday with the 46. I mean, I think I made my opinions clear on how I felt. It was just tough, you know. You're a rookie. You're coming in this. You're already having to learn a whole new car, whole new racetrack, all this other jazz, and you go and you ban it, and you're like, well, crap. You do that, then you go out, it rains in qualifying, so you don't get any more track time in the dry, and you're like, well, now I just got to guess to see what happens in race day, right? You're going in there with a damaged Frankenstein truck, and you're trying to see what happens. So, yeah, that was one thing, and then we were really running well. I think the scoreboard said 19th, we got around 2 more trucks. We were at 17th, and it was actually not Crafton. We had a good gap back to Crafton, and 33 passed me going into 2. And then going down the front, or the long back stretch, she let me back by again, and I just overdrove it. I'd been pumping the brakes. We'd started to get some fade, about 15-20 laps to go, and I didn't pump them at all. When I went to it, the pedal just was really soft, and I went straight into the gravel. But all props to my spotter PJ, because he used this calm southern accent on the radio to keep my head in it. You know, it was. And then Josh came on. It's like, listen, buddy, just get her fired up. We're good. And I'm like, okay. And it's crazy. This truck has needed a jump box all weekend long to get fired. We haven't been able to get it fired on its own. And we stalled it, and I'm like, this is it. I'm going to sit in this gravel trap, or I'm going to sit in this grass. We're going to finish 27th lap down. And my only goal was to finish in the lead lap. No, got it. That's how I feel.
So rating Mid-Ohio being your first Truck Series start, on a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult was it? 10 being really difficult, 1 being it was a piece of cake.
8. I would say Mid-Ohio is it's, you know, even when you play iRacing, like, it's a really difficult racetrack because there's so many off-camber sections, and if you get back to the throttle too soon, too late, you're sending the back end out and you're going to loop it. I think we saw that at the end, right, when you had all these drivers side-by-side racing. When you're by yourself turning qualifying laps, it's, you know, not too bad, but when you're with 3 other trucks all around you just fighting for position, 35 other trucks, excuse me, fighting for position, you're like, yeah.
And then, can you compare racing in a truck to any of the other series you've been in, especially, I mean, go-karts? I know you've done a lot of that.
You know, the only way it's kind of similar is back when I was in junior class for go-kart racing. Survival of the fittest. I mean, you make it through the chaos, and even if you're one of the slower trucks on the racetrack, you're going to end up with a decent result. And I think I'm pretty disappointed in myself. I really feel like we could have had a top 15, but anybody who knows my story knows why I did this. They know I did it for my dad. I got off the racetrack and saw Josh Rayum, gave him a hug, saw my dad, gave him a hug, crying a little on and off for the past, 15-20 minutes. It's been something else. It's kind of surreal.
And do you think you see another truck start in your future?
I would love to say yes, but obviously that comes down to a lot more than just what I want. So we're going to see what happens. We're going to see what we can do. I've had a great relationship with Josh, and I love all the guys at RBR. And I hope to be back again soon. If I'm not, though, I never get to do this again. Yeah, it was pretty freaking special,